Hey friends, do you feel like you're in a learning season or maybe a prolonged learning lesson? It's really common as we walk out our faith that God has things to teach us. Learning is a common part of our faith because as we walk out our salvation, as we walk out our rescue with God, there's areas that He wants to transform and renew and revelation that He wants to share with each of us. And the opportunities to learn from God are part of His steadfast love. Now, I know it doesn't always feel this way. I don't always love or look forward to the lessons that I need to learn, but I know that it produces good fruit in me. Every time I engage with God and He reveals something new to me, I leave transformed. As disciples of Christ, as Christ followers, we are learning from our great teacher. We get to come and to receive the good that He wants to offer us. Sometimes we can separate the teaching that God has for us from the relationship that He invites us into. But learning and receiving God's teaching is not separate from our relationship with Him. It's part of it. And that's why we're talking about it today. I'll read for us Psalm 25, 4 through 10. And starting in verse 4, it says, "Make known to me your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. For you I wait all the day long." The model we see from David is that he's going to the Lord and he's saying, "Lord, lead me, teach me your paths. Teach me because you are the God of my salvation. I wait for you. I look for you. I want you to teach me." It continues in verse 6. It says, "Remember your mercy, O Lord, and your steadfast love, for they have been from old. Remember not the sins of my youth or my transgressions. According to your steadfast love, remember me, for the sake of your goodness, O Lord." God's love for us has always been steadfast. And David is asking Him, "God, remember me, think of me, look upon me in light of your steadfast love, not in light of my past, not in light of my transgressions, but because of your steadfast love, will you remember me?" And he continues, "Good and upright is the Lord. Therefore he instructs sinners in the way." It's not David saying, "God, let's pretend I'm not a sinner." He's saying, "Hey, I am a sinner. I have received your salvation, which I so desperately need. Look upon me and continue with me in your steadfast love." He leads the humble in what is right and teaches the humble his way. All the paths of the Lord are steadfast love and faithfulness for those who keep his covenant and his testimonies. So in verse 4, it says, "Make known to me your ways, O Lord, teach me your paths." And then in verse 10, "All the paths of the Lord are steadfast love and faithfulness." As we draw near to God in these moments today, we can ask God to teach us. We can ask God to show us what He wants us to learn and to guide us on His paths, which are always steadfast love and faithfulness. Even when a lesson is hard to learn or painful to navigate or takes a long time to work through, the path of the Lord remains steadfast love and faithfulness. And so our question for God today is two-part. The first part is, "God, will you talk with me about what you're teaching me?" Maybe you already know lessons that you're working through or what God is highlighting in your spirit that He wants to teach you. Or maybe this is a fresh conversation, but I know that God will talk with you more about it. "God, will you talk with me about what you're teaching me?" And then the second question, "God, how is your steadfast love on display in what you're teaching me?" Have a good talk.